and England.
We learned this week startling amounts about the interior decoration colour scheme preferences of UK Home Secretary Yvette Cooper.
We actually have Union Jack bunting on our garden shed at the moment. I've got St George's flags, I've got St George's bunting, I've got the Yorkshire Rose bunting as well, I've got Union Jack flags and tablecloths, we've got the lot.
We learned that this extremely normal and entirely plausible outburst was, apparently, going to be emblematic of the UK government's response to a widespread outbreak of social media-encouraged flag hoisting in one of the UK's 4 constituent nations.
In some parts of England, everywhere you look, there are St George's and Union Jack flags.
We learned further that the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, was equally determined to pretend that he enjoyed nothing more of an evening than sitting down with his family to watch the flag, perhaps with dinner on their laps.
I always sit in front of a Union Jack. I've been doing it for years and it attracted a lot of comment when I started doing it. And in our flat, which is upstairs from here, as you know, we've got the St George's flag in our flat.
We learned, however, upon researching and contemplating the matter further, that there was far more going on here than can really be adequately conveyed in what is essentially a whimsical news review.
Is there by any chance a recent foreign desk explainer which might unpick the subtext of this brouhaha?
Glad you asked. Why, yes. Yes, there is. It's explainer number 482, which went live earlier this week and which you can find on Monocle's website or wherever superior podcasts are downloaded.
Oh, come on. Just get on with it.
Anyway, in the United States...
Oh, no.
Pace yourselves. In the United States, we learned something of the terrifying threat posed by radioactive shrimp. We learned this from second best ever US Senator John Kennedy, i.e. the no-relation incumbent elected by the people of Louisiana in 2016 and for some reason re-elected in 2022. Although, in fairness, only the second weirdest person called Kennedy at large in the present administration, he has not, to the best of our knowledge, ever sawn the head off a whale and strapped it to a roof rack. And we learned that Senator Kennedy had brought props, if arguably not his marbles.
This is a photograph of the alien from the movie Alien.
Do please go on.
This is what you could end up looking like if you eat some of the raw, frozen shrimp being sent to the United States by other countries.
Righto.
Now let me tell you what I'm talking about.
Please.
If you eat it, how could you end up looking like the alien in the Alien?
Was our next question.
Because the shrimp was radioactive. I kid you not.
We learned, however, and this may be a lesson specific to people composing wry, sidelong looks at the week's events, how annoying it is that the senator wasn't as alarmed about the possibility of radioactive cod, or perhaps haddock, as a punchline about fish and chips was right there, and we couldn't come up with anything nearly as satisfying pertaining to shrimp. But, sticking with the subject of odd-looking toxic orange creatures which have emerged from murky depths to command the political centre stage, we learned more of the determination of US President Donald Trump to unleash the mighty military he commands upon enemies foreign and domestic, not merely upon Venezuelan boats which may or may not have been crammed to the gunwales with cocaine, but we'll never know now.
President Trump confirmed that the U.S. launched a strike in the southern Caribbean against a Venezuelan vessel that was allegedly carrying drugs.
But also women holding a press conference attempting to remind everyone of those files the president definitely isn't mentioned extensively and repeatedly in.
When it had already happened, this woman
abuse children.
We did learn when we looked into it, because we're good like that the US Air Force might not have been scrambled specifically to interrupt the victims of the president's good friend Jeffrey Epstein. It was apparently a tribute to a Polish F-16 pilot killed in a recent accident, staged in honour of Polish President Karol Nawrocki, who was visiting the White House at the time, which is, in fairness, quite a decent gesture. And the whole thing is what we can but hope will serve as a sobering reminder that not everything is what you might want it to look like. Can I get some general muttered agreement? And knitting seamlessly together this week's themes of arguably misplaced national pride, marauding marine creatures, things that fly, and annoying squawking, we learn something of the extraordinary celebrity endowed in this, the 21st century, by an ability to mimic a seagull.
I do like to be beside the seaside.
That was an actual seagull by way of establishing a benchmark. We learned that the English seaside settlement of Weston-super-Mare had drawn inspiration from the heroic endeavours in seagull mimicry of 11-year-old Cooper Wallace, current reigning European Gull Screeching Champion, having lifted the title in the Belgian town of Le Pan, which translates from the Belgian as the Pan, probably, in 2024 with this effort.
3, 2, 1.
And defended it earlier this year with this. If that doesn't make anyone sufficiently proud to spray paint a St George's cross on their nearest roundabout, what will, etc. Once again, you see how cleverly these monologues are stitched together. Anyway, we learned that the arguably under-occupied burghers of Weston-super-Mare had instituted their own gull screeching tournament and invited Cooper Wallace to choose the winner, as they clearly believe that one good turn deserves another.
Wow.
For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Mueller.
Beside the sea.